So I don't know if all of you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can all see.
Okay.
I can see.
All right. That's good. So as we looked at the last time, we looked at various ways to create, for example, a slider as a web designer or a developer. And we looked at what happens when you click on new and the rest. And we also looked at some of the various tools that we have in Photoshop. So I think I explained some few tools over here. So enough of the talking now. Let's go straight to how to at least do our first um, how to at least do our first slider. Okay. All right. So today I'll be moving a little bit faster. So if you have any question, you can just um, lower. You can raise your hand up. I'll see you. Then I'll get back to you. All right. Are you good to go now? Okay. So let's move straight to what you are supposed to do for today. So
Yeah.
let's assume that we want to start our first slider. Normally, you know, normally the sliders that we have on our website are for landscape orientation, not a portrait. So in Photoshop, for you to turn your um, your work or your picture from a landscape, from a portrait to a landscape, there is, when you click on the image, you come to image rotation, we have the 180. Then we have there, so you just try the ones that work for you. All right. So I'll press Control plus 0, which I explained this in my last um, training. It will fit your work to the size of your screen. That's a Control plus 0. I wish that you would take pen and paper wherever you are so that we'll be taking notes as we move along. Okay, so we looked at some of these tools the other time. So today, let's move on. Now, let me talk about the gradient tool. Now, whenever we hear gradient, we are talking about blending two or more colors together. So the gradient tool, for me to change the colors and the rest, I first of all have to select it. All right, and look at the top here. I don't know if you can all see, or I should zoom it. Can you all see?
Oh, it's okay.
Okay, so when you come here, it will display the default types of gradient that we have. Okay, these are the default ones, but then you can also manipulate it. So for instance, if I select the first one, I can change the colors, do a lot of things with it. So I've selected the first one. Now let's see how it works. Now I'm just drawing just a I don't know whether a horizontal line or what, a line here, straight line here, and look at the way it changes. The colors change based on the line. You understand? Um, I will urge all of us to play with it, try as much as possible how this thing works. Okay, so now let's assume that I want to quickly change the colors. The colors are not all that appropriate. So I can come here, double click on the ones I want to change. So I double click on it. Now this is the gradient preset. These are the preset, the default ones. But then we can do a lot of changes from here. So for you to change the colors, let's say the yellow and somebody will say blue, what I'll do is that I'll first of all have to select from here. Okay. Then as the color shows over here, you click on the color, then you select from any color that you want. right? So depending on the color that you want, you can pick from any one of them. Okay. Now the other one, I don't want it to be blue, so I can also go in for another color like this. Let's see if it will work. I'll click on OK. Now let me come and drop my vertical line over here. It's a horizontal line. Let me draw my straight line. All right. So I have something like this. This is not nice. All right. So depending on the colors that you want, you can change it, to different colors that you want. So let me use something like this. And this will work perfectly fine. Okay. All right. So that is going to be my background for now. You understand? Okay. So let me bring another image and let me try to fit the image in as. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to click on open. Now I'm going to go in for my normal picture, the picture. Let me go to my downloads. Let me look for the picture that I have that I can work with. So let me select this young man over here. Now, so just as we did the other time, I can just drag and drop it. Okay, I just drag it. I'm still holding the click button and I just drop it over here. But there is not what I want. This doesn't look appropriate. That is not the idea. And designing is all about concept. That's not a concept that I want to sell across. So I told you the other time, I explained the use of the brushes. Okay, don't forget that eraser tool. When you press E, the eraser tool also uses the brushes. So I'm selecting the eraser tool. I'm not going to use the magic eraser tool. I'm going to use the eraser tool, the normal eraser tool here. And with the hardness, I'm going to set it to, I'm going to make it a soft brush. The hardness determines whether the brush is a hard brush or a soft, brush. And the sizes, you can adjust it from here to the various size that you want. Okay. But don't forget that Photoshop deals with layers. So all these things that we are doing, you have to make sure that that layer is selected. So this is the layer that I want to work on, the picture that I just placed on our background. So I've selected that picture and I'm going to increase the size of the brush. Now let's see what happens. So this is a soft brush. This is a soft brush. So you see the way it is just blending. All right. Why? Trying to adjust it to get the everything that I want. Make your account get the one that you want. Okay. Okay. So you work on it till you become perfect with whatever that you want from. So what is important here is the concept. Okay. The concept that is very, very important. Okay, so another thing that you can also do with this image is that we call something the blending. Okay, now there's you have the normal here, but then I can blend it with different style to fit my background. Okay, so I can use the normal brush, that's the eraser tool, to change everything, to rub it, make it look nice. I can also use the blend when it comes to this side. I can just use it to blend, to blend, to make it looks like the picture was created from the background over there. Okay, so I'm going to use color dodge from here. All right. So after that, the next thing I want to introduce you guys to is um, the type tool. Okay, what this it allows us to write whatever we want to do in Photoshop. So now I'm going to just write something else. Forget about one of the things I want you to work on. First of all, click on Windows and go to the character. Okay, what this does is it opens the character section for you. So first of all, always check the size before you click on before you click on the empty space. All right. So I'm just going to write let's say web. Okay. So you know that you are not seeing the writings because of the color of the text that is white. So when I click on this one, it allows me to change the color of it. All right. Please, if I'm moving too fast, you can just draw my attention by raising up your hand up so that I'll quickly slow down. I don't know if I should continue. Should I continue, please?
I think you can continue.
All right. So with this section, you can change
I think
you can continue.
the color of the text. And this section also allows you to work with the size. But one of the things that Photoshop does best, okay, is that it allows you to be creative, okay? And no one will talk about creativity. We are talking about without any restrictions, you understand? So make sure that when you use your select tool, make sure that these two buttons are turned on. Okay, that's the auto select and show transform controls. Now, without the show transform controls, even when I select this one, I'm not going to see anything to enlarge it or to, make it small. So when I click on show transform controls, it will give me the opportunity to enlarge whatever I write from here. Okay, all right. Now, there are a lot of things that I can do with my text from here. So let me go back to my character here. Let me explain some basic things over here. So this one is talking about the size of it. Then this one is talking about if we have 2 or 3 lines, it's talking about spacing. Or I don't know if you can. That one is talking about the spacing. Okay, and this one is talking about the spacing, and this one is talking about. So this one is talking about the spacing as in a sentence, but this one is talking about the spacing as in a particular line. Okay, so I'm having 100 here. That is why you're seeing a lot of space with my word. But the moment I choose 0, you see that all the words come back together. You understand? So you can do a lot of things from here. And the T stand for bold. But I recommend that you, instead of you using the bold over here, you go in for fonts that is that is good for bolding a text. Okay, there are so many types of and different types of font there, which is having extra bold and extra large. Like already, you don't need to bold it and all that. All right. So this one is the italics, and this one will turn everything that you write into caps, all caps. Okay, and this one deals with the caps and the small areas. All right. Okay. So now let me quickly change the color of my text to something which will be visible. Okay. So let me try yellow. Yellow is visible. But then let's see what we can do to this. Now I'm having a yellow color like this. We can do a lot of stuff to this where how do you call it? The word alone, the web. So I right click on this particular web, then I'll go to the blending options. When you click on the blending options, you can do a lot of things from here to our web. Don't forget that we are still on the web. So first of all, I can add a drop shadow. Now the drop shadow will add shadow to whatever we have. Okay, we will drop shadow, will add shadow to whatever we have over there. But one thing which makes this one unique is that you can control the size of the shadow and even the opacity of it, how visible that thing is. control the distance all from here. All right, you can control the distance all right from here. You can control the spread, the rate at which it's spread around it. You can control the size, how big you want it to be. All right, so there are a bunch of settings that you have to try it on your own in order for you. So in I told you it's a concept, and it's also a skill. And whenever you hear skill, it's not something which comes just like that. It demands dedication, series of practices, and the rest. Okay, let me continue. So that is for that. And we can, just like the other one, we can do a lot of stuff with this one too. We can use the color overlay, which any color that we select from here will override the default color that we have over there. So any color that I will pick will override the previous color that we have. Okay, we have a gradient color. You can add so many colors, gradient 2 or more colors from here. And we have the pattern of overlay. If you have a specific, now please note all these gradient that we have. If we have, you can download some online. When you type on gradient for Photoshop, you can have a lot of gradient, predefined one where people have worked it over time. Then you can get so many patterns for your work online. All right. Okay, so this looks better for now. Okay, now let's use our text tool again. Next time around, we are going to add development. Okay. Development to it. So development to it, you can change the size of it from here, either from there, or you can just use the control, handles over there to work on it. Right. So can see that now. Get something like that. All right. So it depends on you how you want your work to be. All right. So you can play with so many colors to make your work. All right. So that's it. So you can use this one as your picture, the intro picture for your website or a slider. Don't forget, as I stated in the previous training, that what is important with these ones, what is important with these one is you knowing what you are doing, the dimensions, everything, getting everything all right. Okay, so I think these are the basic things that you are supposed to know, basic knowledge that you are supposed to know as a web developer for in graphic design. All right, getting to know what you want and the rest. Of course, we can also look at picture editing, which is very, very essential. Majority of the time, sometimes somebody will just bring. After that, you can save it. I'm not saving it anyway. Somebody can just tell you that use this picture, but as a professional web developer, maybe you think that the picture needs to be worked on. All right, so Photoshop is a professional software, and it is also having so many functionalities. One of them, what makes Photoshop stand out is its ability to make your pictures come back to life. Okay, so let's see one or two tricks that you can work around when it comes to pictures as a web developer. All right, so I'm just using any random picture. Let me use my own pick for. Okay, so I'm assuming that I'm going to use this picture, and this picture is not all that bright. The light and everything is poor. Okay, so I'm using Photoshop CC 2019. So from CS6 coming, okay, from CS6 CC coming to CC 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and now we have CC 20. So all of them, they are having a filter that we call camera raw filter. Okay, so those of you who are familiar with Adobe products, you know, Lightroom, one of the things that Lightroom does best, you know, in those days compared to Photoshop was its ability to bring more lighting into your picture. And one of the things that Photoshop has also integrated within its products from over the years is the camera raw filter. Okay, this works perfectly like Adobe Lightroom. So let's see some of the basic traits that you can work it over here. So this is my picture. So let's see, you can go through a lot of menus and controls over here. And the first thing I want you to understand is that this section over here, the Y section, this one helps you to cycle between the before and the after. So I'm just clicking on once. So this is before and the after. And what happens is anything that any settings that I will do over here is going to affect the after one and leave the before one. And this one helps us to know actually whether we are making progress or not. Understand? So working on a picture like this, the first thing that you need to look at is your the first thing you need to look at is your light and shadows. The white is okay, but the black is okay. So exposure. So I'm going to give it a little bit exposure to bring out the light. Then look at the contrast. Contrast is going to give it more darkness. Then I'm going to bring out the shadows, remove the shadows, bring out a little bit highlight. Okay. So you work on it till you get the desired settings that you want. The clarity is very, very important. Depending on the size, the type of lens that you use and the camera. The clarity brings in the quality of the picture. Understand? So I'm going to increase the clarity from here. I don't know if you are seeing the changes. I don't know if you are seeing the changes between these two. All right. Now, another thing that I want to also talk about is this one, the haze. Now, a lot of times when you take pictures, you find out that the picture is too bright. It is having whitish over there. Now, this thing takes care of that very easy, but it shouldn't be too much, because when it becomes too much, it tends to also add some colors to your picture. All right, so that is for the first session. Now we can go into details with the tone curves, where you can work on the light properly, right? Look at the darkness, bring it down. So now I'm getting light. Then come to the shadows. I could be a darker power. All right. So you work now. Another thing I want to also talk about is the colors adjustment. Okay. So this place you can increase the red from here, but then you have to be very careful. You have to make sure that you know what you are doing from here. And the yellow, you can increase it by here. So the saturation is going to make the colors deepen, and the rest you have to be careful with that. You don't spoil the picture. So you have to know what you are doing from here. Right. Another thing I want to also talk about the luminance. Luminance brings about the reflection and the rest, make it stand out. So the reflection and the rest. So the yellow can make it. I don't know if you are seeing it. So it regulates the amount of time it reflects and the rest. So it depends on you have to work around it. It's not going to come just once. Okay. So bring my clarity. All right. So we are having our before and after. So I just added some few things to it, but then we can go on smoothing the face. But that is not our focal point for today. Our focal point as a web developer is just being able to make the picture come back to life, make it a little bit looks professional, and be able to get your dimensions and everything right. Okay. So I click on OK. And whatever you did over here will be applied to your picture over there. So now my picture looks a little bit brighter and more nicer than the way it used to be at first. Okay, please, any more questions before I move on to the last aspect? Hello, any more questions? Okay, so okay, so that is the basic thing that you need to know about Photoshop as a web developer. But Bob, talk to me. You have raised your hand up.
Yeah, I wanted to know, like the picture you had earlier, it's in a portrait form. Now, if you're supposed to resize this image into a landscape form, without losing the pixels and the rest of them, how are you going to do it? Because the possibility of you dragging it, you're going to lose some of the pixels and it's going to come blur. In addition to this thing that you did, the contrast and the other thing, there was a lot of light in it. So if you are resizing it, are you not going to lose the quality? As in, isn't it going to be so blur as compared to the previous one?
Okay, so let me tackle the first one. So the first one, you are talking about how to change the picture from the landscape to from portrait to landscape without losing the size. So I'm just reloading the old picture again. So something like this, right? So let's say I want to take it to uh, a landscape. So let me go to photos, landscape 2x3. So something like this, right? So what you can do is that it depends on the person who's working on it. If it will, so personally, I'll first of all have to create the dimension, the landscape, the ones that I want. Okay. Now, then you bring my picture. Right now, what I'm doing is I just clicked on it. I haven't removed I'm just dragging and I'm going to drop it over here. Now I have my picture here. But note the difference. Now, this means that the size of my picture is bigger than the one that I want to create. So first of all, take note of the dimension. But then it doesn't mean that Photoshop can't help you. And one of the amazing thing about Photoshop is that whatever you do in Photoshop, you can still get the better quality out of it. It depends on how you save it and how you go about it. So for me to maintain the same quality size of the picture and the rest, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control+0. All right. So because I have my show transform controls on, I can just resize it. Okay. I'm just going to resize it to fit what I want. But then this is the trick. Sometimes because of the size that we are not going to get everything as in now we want the thing to be in landscape. I don't know if although now the thing is in landscape, I still have my quality, the picture quality intact, everything. And that's the magic that Photoshop does. So that's it. I can just save this and I still have my picture in a landscape form. I don't know if your question have been answered for the first one. Oh, it looks like the guy who asked the question has vanished from the line. Okay, so this is just by this.
My network is a bit bad, so it's kind of on and off. I didn't really see how you managed to transfer it from the portrait to the landscape without losing the distance though. It's my network kind of switched off.
Okay, so I'll upload the video on YouTube so you can watch it later on and see how I did it. It's very, very simple. And I think the other question, your second question was, if you can remind me about your second question.
Pardon me, please.
Can you remind me your second question?
Okay, so the second question was that with the contrast and everything that you made, giving the picture light, if you're supposed to kind of expand the picture in order to fit your website, are you not going to lose a lot of pixels, and isn't it going to make it so blur, especially when you have added lights to the picture? Are you not going to lose the quality?
Okay, so that is a nice question. So the trick here is you have to decide one the dimension. Okay, so if for instance if I have it in my mind that whatever I'm going to do is I'm going to use 600 by let's say 400. Okay, so deep within me I know the size that I want, and 600 by 400, I as a graphic designer or a web developer knows the kind of quality that I'm going to get. Okay, but then whatever I work within Photoshop over here is not going to reduce the size. Okay, but then when I put it back into my website, because I have the dimensions, everything straight from Photoshop, there's nothing, the quality won't change. Nothing will be able to change. But then the moment, for instance, the moment I send this picture back to my website and I restrict the sizes, let's say I stretch it, I increase it to make it straight, that's where I'm going to lose the size, the quality of my picture. So I keep telling people that, first of all, work within Photoshop in order for the quality of that picture to be retained. All right. So, any more question? Eunice, do you have a question?
No.
Washington. Red Washington. Okay, so
I don't have any.
okay, so that is going to be for that's going to be the end for this session. So the next video, that is we are going to break for 15 minutes. Let me go and get some drink to take in. So the next video, I'm going to focus on whatever we have done so far, bring everything back together and do a live demonstration where to put your files in a hosted environment, where not to put your files, how to go about it, how to even create SQL, that is database and the rest. So I want all of us to rest for 15 minutes, then we'll come back again. This time around, I'm going to touch on a few things that we have been through. Then you wrap everything up. All right, thank you for joining. I'll see you.